You don't have to get unbalanced in order to catch up. I feel like we have all been in the space where we've fallen behind or fallen short in the area to where we start to hyper focus on that area so much to the point where we become completely unbalanced in the rest of the areas of our life because you didn't stay up to 5 o'clock in the morning for the past 2 nights. So hyper focus on catching up in this area, and now you fell behind at work or in school or in your relationships or with your mental health because you haven't even paid attention to yourself because you're hyper focusing on catching up in this area. This is a quick reminder, not only for myself, but for whoever else comes across this, that catching up in the area where you've fallen behind does not mean that you have to become unbalanced. We be wanting things to happen overnight. Like, you don't get out of debt overnight. When it comes to you catching up with whatever it is that you fell behind on, it's not going to happen overnight. So I understand maybe you grew up in survival. Maybe you are used to waiting to the last minute. You work best when your back is against the wall. That's not going to serve you in the season that you are in when you are trying to create balance. You staying up saying, okay, well, I'm going to finish this thing and get this done. And you're up until 5 a.m. Now you've thrown off your whole entire schedule for the next day. You want to wake up at 5 a.m. so that you can go do Pilates, so that you can work out, so you can talk to God, so that you can have a moment of stillness. You can't wake up at 5 if you stayed up at 5. You can't have no productive day if you stayed up until 5 and now you're trying to go into doing even more. You're going to be exhausted and overload yourself. How many times have you done this? And it gets to a certain point where you be burnt out. So when it comes to catching up on what you've fallen behind on, you need to create a strategy. How many things are you going to check off your list in your day and be realistic about it? Don't write down every single thing you need to get done. And it's like, I'm going to get done 18 things off this list. No, you're not. You're most likely going to get a good 2-3 things knocked off your list depending upon how much time it takes up. Once you knock off 2 or 3 things on your list, time has passed by. You have used a certain amount of energy and you still have other things that you need to do within your day, within your life. So you can't just hyper focus on, I'm trying to catch up in this area, so I'm just going to go all the way in and do all these 18 things, and now you falling behind in a whole nother area. Now you got to go play catch up in that area. The best thing that you can do and the most powerful thing that you can do is create balance within you catching up and getting out of debt or whatever it is for you. So yes, write out every single thing that you need to do. Everything that you need to accomplish, everything that you've fallen behind on, and then prioritize what is most important to least important. The problem is that we think things are supposed to happen overnight, literally. There is a process to which the overnight comes. There are many days that you have to put in work. There is multiple things that you have to invest into. There's a strategy that you have to follow in order for that overnight blessing to come. Some people, they were creating for years. Victoria Monet, she was working for 10, 15 years before she had her overnight. Overnight doesn't literally mean I did this for one day and then overnight it happened. No, I've been doing this for a while. I mastered the art of it. I got it down pat. I stayed consistent and then overnight I was blessed. So I'm going to keep using the example of debt. If you are in debt, you are trying to build your credit, there is a strategy you must come up with in order to get to the place that you want to be. All right, I know I owe this much on my collections. I'm going to get the addresses of everybody from who I owe. And I'm going to send a letter out a day because that is what I can do within my capacity on top of everything else that I do. There's a strategy that you must come up with in order to be able to get out of that hole and not lose balance or lose sight of what you are currently obligated to and responsible for in your life right now. There's a balance. Because a lot of the times we think that things are supposed to happen overnight and I can fix this in one night and I can catch up on all this work in one night because I waited till the last minute. And then you burn yourself out and now you're behind on everything else. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be built over time so that it can show up overnight. It's not just because you've done one day of work and then it shows up the next day. So I'm saying all this to say, sit down and get real about what it is that you've fallen behind on so that you can create a strategy and a schedule to begin to knock those things off your list. Not all in one day, maybe not even in 1 week, but within a reasonable and realistic amount of time. What is the time frame to which you want to get this thing done? The reason why we don't get as much done as we would prefer to is because we create unrealistic goals and time frames that we cannot meet based upon fantasy and what you desire to happen. God is the God that can do it in a day. Yes, but that does not mean it's supposed to be done in a day for you. There might be a certain skill that you need to learn that is going to come from you going through this process that you can utilize later on, and that's going to take you to the next level in a way that you would not get to if it just happened overnight or in a day. So yes, God is a God that can do it overnight. God is a God that can do it in a day. God is a God that can do it swiftly and supernaturally, but that does not mean that is how it's supposed to happen for your best benefit. So be realistic, but have faith that God will supersede your expectations, that he will do something that you cannot even think or imagine is possible for your life. But you weren't even expecting that because you embraced and welcomed the process and you were realistic with your time frame. Most of the times we find ourselves getting frustrated at the time frame we have set because we never truly sat down to think about the vision and making it plain. We were never really realistic. A year sounds like too long. Nowadays, 3 months sound like it's too long. So you say 3 weeks, I want this done in 3 weeks. You haven't even adopted the mindset to even have faith enough for that to happen in 3 weeks. So creating a realistic time frame and pinpointing where you've fallen behind or what it is that you desire to accomplish and writing it down, making the vision plain and taking it back to God is going to be the most powerful thing that you can do when it comes to your vision actually coming to fruition in a tangible form. So first things first. What is it that you need to catch up on? What is it that you desire to accomplish? What is your goal? Okay, cool. That's great. You've identified what that is. Now, what is required to knock that goal off your list? You've identified the goal. You've identified what you need to catch up on and what you want to get done. But what is required to get that thing done? For example, you want to have a credit score of 750 by the end of this year. You have 10 months to do that. What is required within this 10 months to get to that score? The goal is you desire to have a credit score of 750 by the end of this year. You have identified your time frame for this goal. You have 10 months. Now you must identify what is required throughout those 10 months for you to get to this goal. You have 5 collections that are impacting your credit severely. Now you must go find the information as to who you need to call and send letters to get those taken off of your collections. That is a step that you have to take to accomplish this goal within 10 months. You don't want to just depend on getting your collections off because you've been hearing people say that you also have to have positive payment history. So you did your research and you found that there are 2 platforms that you can use to accomplish this goal. One is Credit Strong and one is Self. Credit Strong, you not only found out that they help with personal, but they also do it for your business. Of course, this is going to take a payment. You get paid every 2 weeks, but you know that you have certain bills that you have to pay and you might have maybe $100 left over after you pay what you need to pay. You don't like being broke. You don't like not having no money at all. So it's not realistic for you to spend your last on that. You don't really see the importance of it or you don't want to be uncomfortable. That's cool. You have 10 months. Now, if you were trying to do this in a shorter amount of time, I'm sorry, babe, but you're going to have to be a little bit uncomfortable. So you decide so that you are not uncomfortable because of the obligations that you have and what you are responsible for. You are going to take your second check that you get. And that is going to be the check that you take the money that you need to pay these platforms to report positive on your credit. You used your first check strictly for bills. You also did something nice for yourself because you knew that second check was going to hurt a little bit. So boom, you got the information for the people that you owe. You already started writing your letters and now you have the platforms paid off and both platforms are reporting positive to your credit. Not only are these platforms reporting positive, they are saving up each amount that comes out of your check monthly. So not only is your credit being positively impacted, you are also building a savings and you're going to get a check back for this investment that you have made into yourself and your future. You found out that not only do you need to get these negative collections off of your report and have positive payment history, but you need more credit card utilization. And you don't have good credit to get a credit card. So now, in order to accomplish this goal that you have of having a 750 credit score by the end of this year, with 10 months to do it, You now need to do some research on where you can get a secured credit card from. You had a couple of different options. You can go through your bank, Capital One, Open Sky, but you found the one that worked best for you. You want to get as many benefits as possible when it comes to this credit thing to reach this goal. So you even gone as far as doing research on different platforms that you can use to add your phone bills, your rent, and your utilities to get them to positively impact your credit as well. Do you get where I'm going? You have to break down the big goal into small requirements, or you will think that the goal is too big to obtain, and you'll have no direction as to what you need to do to check that goal off your list. So you're going to have your goal and then your requirements. Your requirements are really your checklist. The goal really isn't the thing that has to be checked off your list the most. You can check off your goal before you even check off your requirements because you know you're going to accomplish it. The real challenge comes in with you accomplishing the requirements and checking those off your list. That's where the work comes in. So after pinpointing your goal, the time frame, and your requirements, this is where the supernatural comes in. Because one thing about it, the world loves you broke. They love you poor. They love you unsure of yourself because you're easy to use and manipulate. Darkness can only be dark if they have people to use. So if you are currently in the darkness or ever been used by the darkness, you already know the only people they can use are the ones that are broken, the ones that are poor, the ones that are unhappy. It's easy to use, abuse, and manipulate the people who feel helpless and hopeless. So that is what people want to keep you. That is what darkness wants to keep you. That is what the world requires in order to be able to prosper off you. So when you have no clear insight as to what you need to do to get out of the space that you are in, you will remain hopeless and helpless thinking that God does not hear you. And that is the plan, my friend. So when it comes to the supernatural part of what it is that you're going after, adversity is going to try everything in its power to keep you hopeless and helpless. So your goals, your time frame, the requirements that are necessary to meet that goal needs to be written down. When you write that down, you need to write down your vision alongside it. What do you want to produce from this? Not just the goal, I want my credit to be straight. What are you getting with this credit? I've always wanted a house that my whole family could live in, on land that we own. I'm so excited that I can grow my own food alongside my children. What is it that you want to see happen from accomplishing this goal? Write your vision and make it plain. And don't say I want. Say I'm thankful that because I have reached a credit score of 750, I am able. I am blessed because throughout this process, even though adversity came, God carried me. Express gratitude supernaturally. Because God's going to show up for you supernaturally throughout this process because darkness does not want you to elevate. That's why they're trying to change laws. That's why they're trying to increase fees. That's why they are trying to restrict how you live and how you see. So supernaturally, you're going to need help. You're going to need assistance. You are not doing this on your own. The mere fact that when you got your credit score to 750, you went to go buy your house. You got the house for half of what it was listed for while it was in high demand. It's supernatural. So goal, requirements, vision, prayer, so that you can be covered in everything that you do. So that you can be covered in every letter that you write. So that you can be covered in every room that you walk in. So that you can be covered in every conversation that you have. And that is how you're going to catch up. Physically, supernaturally, mentally, emotionally. We're all believing for different things. That's how you're going to catch up. That is how you're going to accomplish this goal. That is how you are going to get it done. That is how. Okay? So I pray, as always, that you are leaving this video way better than you came. And if you like videos such as these, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I always leave the introduction of myself towards the end of my videos because what matters the most is you getting to breakthrough. So if you do not know who I am, my name is Jasmine, aka The Infinite Asset, and I'm here to show you how to appreciate and value not only financially, but spiritually and emotionally as well. Because if you're not your best self, it does not matter what amount of money that you get, you will fumble the bag every time. So cheers to becoming the highest version of you and aligning with the version of you that God sees. All right. I will see you next video. If you like this video and you feel that it can help somebody else, do not be afraid or shy. Hit that share button and subscribe so that you can see me next time. Have a great day.